Welcome back, everybody. It's another episode of Embracing Life in Issaquah. I'm your co-host, Chris Angel, and I'm here with your host, Rebecca Kuno-Scott. Hello, Rebecca.
Hey, Chris. Hey, everybody.
You're glowing today. I love it.
Gorgeous sunshine.
Yes, exactly. It is sunny over there. I noticed that there's lots of sun coming through. So despite the rumors of rain in the Northwest, you are having sunshine today.
We are. It's quite beautiful. Cold, but beautiful.
Yes, I love the Issaquah area when it's sunny and beautiful. It's so good. So good. Well, it's New Year's at the time of this airing, and we're going to talk about New Year's traditions with our family. I think it's a really fun way to bring in the new year. So I'm curious, I guess, first of all, I'm curious what you guys do, and then maybe we can broaden the topics to what other things people could do with their families in the new year. So,
sure. So we're not huge New Year's people in our family. Like New Year's Eve isn't a big go out and party.
Yeah, us neither. Us neither.
I think by the time like the holidays have wrapped up, like we're more of a, hey, let's chill at home, have a family game night kind of crowd. Yep. And from that, we're actually getting ready for the third year in a row to have family game night with another family that has kids that are the same age, and all of us get along really, really well. So that's kind of how we bring in the new year, is kind of surrounding ourselves with family, and that's what works really, really well for us.
Nice.
And so that's fun because we'll do a little smorgasbord of appetizer kind of dinner, and then we'll do different kinds of games. A lot of times we'll play pretty heated card games that everybody gets into.
Yeah, right.
That's really fun. Other times we'll do things like charades or catchphrase, things like that. Doesn't matter the game. It's just about being together and that interaction and putting the electronics away and enjoying each other. So that's how we kind of kick off the new year. And then the last few years on New Year's Day, while we're watching parades and football or whatever, a tradition that I've started and I've done for myself the past few years, probably the better part of 5 years now, I think it'll be. I started creating a vision board. And at first I wasn't so sure about it. I first got the idea from hearing snippets of the book, The Secret, which for a while everybody was talking a lot about that.
Yep.
And through a lot of the training and coaching that I've gotten through my real estate career with Gary Keller and attending classes that Keller Williams has offered, such as Bold or Quantum Leap, there was a lot of talk across all those different avenues of creating a vision for your life, right?
Yeah.
And so I said, what the heck? I'll give it a try. And so I did, and I created a poster board and started cutting out things that were important to me, that I wanted to start see happening, right? And what was interesting is the following year, and I had the vision board, and it was somewhere where I could see it on a daily basis. I actually have a little shelf in my bathroom that's kind of over by my bathtub, and I actually have the board propped up there. And so I'm obviously in my bathroom most every day, and so I see it on a daily basis. And what was really interesting is the next year I looked at everything that was on the board, and while I didn't accomplish everything, some really big key nuggets were there.
Wow.
And they were, at the time, they were ones that when I created the vision, I did not think were likely to happen.
Wow.
Specifically in the realm of rebuilding a family, because at the time I was widowed and had been widowed for a little bit of time, and had been had met my husband now, and we had been dating, and we had, unfortunately, just before Christmas, had broken up, and it didn't look like we were, I thought that breakup was it, right?
Yeah, right.
And so one of the key things that was front and center on my vision board was I found a picture of a heart, and on it, I wrote the words, "A great love for Emily and me," because I wanted to envision somebody coming into our lives that it wasn't just about a love for Emily and I to have with ourselves, like, you know,
Right.
and having a special mother-daughter relationship, but it was about bringing somebody else in, or somebody else's, as it, you know, if there was another child,
Right.
creating this family. And lo and behold, against what I thought were all odds, we worked through that breakup, and by Christmas the next year, or New Year's, we were married and had been married for a couple of months by that point in time.
Wow.
And then there was other littler things that were from that board that also happened. And so it's like, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So I've kept the tradition going.
Yeah.
And my daughter saw this vision board, and she saw the same things that I had on there, and she knew what some of these different pictures and things represented to me. And she saw how they had come to fruition in my life.
Yeah.
So she started catching on and having an interest. So my girls haven't embraced it quite so much yet, but there's an interest and an intrigue.
Yeah.
And my husband's still a little bit further back on the train. But it's a fun tradition, and it's a nice way to spend the day, and you can get as involved and detailed as you want, or as laid back about it as you want. And
do you do your vision boards like crafty? Like, will you write on it, or do you just cut out words? Do you just cut out pictures from magazines? Like, what's your style of vision boarding?
Sure, because there's lots of different ways to do it. I do a combination of pictures and words.
Yeah.
So
and do you cut out magazines, or are you doing other stuff?
I will either cut out magazines, or if there's an image that I'm looking for that I can't find in a magazine, then I'll just do a Google search.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
You know, so I have a dream of buying a vacation home in a community that's a little not too far away from here. And so on my vision board, I'm going to find a picture of a house, and there's a very specific type of architecture in this community that I'm interested in. So I'm going to find a picture of a house that resembles the architecture of homes in that particular community, and I'm going to cut it out, because while I don't really think that's something that's going to come to fruition for our family in this coming year, keeping it front of mind, I think, will very much help keep it a goal that we work towards. So, you know, if I can't find that in a magazine, then I'll just go and do a Google search. So I do that, and then I also write words underneath of like what that represents if I feel like that picture needs a little bit more clarity.
Cool. Yeah, that's so cool. I'm always drawn to words. Like when I look back at my vision boards, they always have like sentences or big words, and then they have supporting pictures, but a lot of times I don't know why I'm drawn to words, but I just am. I just like words. So my vision boards are often word heavy. But I don't like my writing enough to write on the board. So I just try to keep it all magazine stuff, you know?
Well, but the magazine stuff is in a way a picture, and there's something about that process of finding that word and cutting it out and things like that.
Yeah.
Or even if it's cutting out a specific letter to make, because maybe you can't find the exact words you need, but you find the letters and you like the font. So there is still a similar concept to that.
Yeah. I pictured one of those anonymous letters that you get in the mail from a Unabomber. It's like written, you know, anyway, I went dark there for a minute, but, you know what I love about, that type of thing with family is that, especially with kids, I read this book years ago called What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. And the author talked about kids, like he was talking about our subconscious, and like really our subconscious is a blank slate. And when you write stuff on it, it's like, if you think about kids who have a blank slate and you put a keyboard on their chest and you're like programming them by the things you said to them.
Yep.
like they just take all this stuff in as kids. And I thought, how cool, when you told me about your vision boarding with your family, I'm like, how cool that getting kids interested in that stuff where they are impressing upon themselves the things that matter to them and the things that they want in life, and start taking an active role in what they put in their subconscious for the things in life they want. I was like, that is so cool. I love that as a family tradition.
Yep. Another aspect of it, we don't do this so much on a vision board, and through the course of this dialogue, I actually might transition this next thing to that, is we also, at the beginning of the year, have a family conversation, and I say, I do it with sticky notes. I give everybody like the little, 3x3 square sticky notes.
Yeah.
And on the sticky notes, I give them things that they want to do this next year, right?
Cool.
And so where do they want to go to vacation? What are some family bonding time things that they want? And so we then take those sticky notes, and then I go to an actual paper calendar, and we're like, okay, well, this sticky note, we can fit that in here and we can fit that in there. And so it's a way to get some of those things not done or checked off the list, because it's not about checking it off the list, right?
Right.
It's about being intentional with how we spend our time.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to get caught up in the day-to-day hustle and bustle. You and I were chatting just before this. I was really caught up in my everyday hustle and bustle.
Yep.
And I had to shift my mindset to be intentional about something that's important to me, right?
Yeah.
Same concept. So another aspect of what we do is I give everybody these sticky notes, and my husband is on board with this one. And it's like, where do we want to travel this year?
Yeah.
What's important to us as a family? And so things like making sure we get up to Snoqualmie Pass and go skiing on a regular basis.
Right.
Often gets written down. A weekend trip to Disneyland, is often thrown in there by the girls, or those kinds of things.
Fun.
And that's how you make those things happen. So
to the name of your show. To the name of the show, Embracing Life, I think part of embracing it is like being intentional about what you want to embrace. Like,
exactly.
So much of life can become a reaction to or by default. And we're really talking about, creating life by design. I think that's part of embracing it. So I love that. Our family will do we'll do a theme for the year. We'll say like, well, what is this year really about? If we had to have it in one word, and then each of us can have our own theme, And then sometimes we'll do what we call highs, lows, predictions, and goals. Like, what were the highs of last year? What were the lows of last year? What are the goals and predictions for the following year? And I just love the conversation of it. Like, just all the other stuff aside about what it's actually said, I love that it's a conversation of intentionality that I'm having with my family. And I think that's really cool. So I love that you guys have those kind of traditions too.
I really like some of the traditions that you just shared. Those sound really, really neat too, because it's that reflecting on what was good, reflecting on what was bad.
Yeah.
Allows you to go, I think that helps us remain in being intentional in our daily lives. Yeah.
I think it's like, as a family, when you get to have those kind of conversations, that's the stuff that I love the most. Like, conversations that matter. I think especially as kids get older and you're like, how was your day? And they're like, fine. And you're like, could we talk a little bit? Like, I don't know, like, there's a moment where it becomes harder to talk to your kids because they're just in their own world, that having traditions like this give you that familiar conversation to have as they get older. So I can see my kids in their 20s, 30s, and, having these conversations at New Year's, like, what are your highs, lows, predictions, and goals? And what are your theme for the year? And keeping that connection as my family gets older,
Yes, no, I hear you right there, because I now officially have a teenager, and which is crazy. And and we have a special relationship because we've gone through a lot together. So I would say that potentially we are closer than a lot of mothers and daughters are going into this age,
right?
That she's stepping into, right?
Yeah.
And even having that close relationship, I still am noticing a huge shift
Right.
in how much she shares and how much we communicate. So I think these kinds of traditions become even more important for getting through this time period that we all have to go through, right? So that we can come out the other side and get to that place that I aspire to, of when she is an adult, when both of my girls are adults, being able to transition into having a friendship with them. It's not my job right now. My job is to be a parent.
Right.
And I want to navigate through that so that I can get to a goal of having a friendship with my girls when they're grown women. Yeah.
That's so good. I love that. I agree 100%. So good. Well, this has been an awesome conversation. I can you imagine the world if the families were taking on these types of intentional conversations with their family every New Year's? I love the vision of that for the world and obviously for Issaquah. But if people want to reach out to you, they want to connect with you. They're like, hey, Rebecca, like, well, we want to buy a house, or hey, Rebecca, we're trying to sell our house, or hey, tell us what you do on your vision board thing again. Like, where can they reach you?
Sure. Best place right now to reach me is via Facebook at Embracing Life in Issaquah. Or feel free to call me or shoot me a text at 425-395-4573.
Awesome. Thanks for bringing the show to Issaquah, Rebecca. I'm excited for future conversations. I'm excited for our next conversation, actually, in the next episode, where we get to talk about some hot spots, some cool businesses in Issaquah. I think that's a fun way to connect the community with itself. So everybody listening to this, stay tuned for that. Until then, Rebecca, thanks for your time, and we'll see you.
All right. Take it easy. Bye-bye.
Take it easy. Bye.